Hey, this is Josh Brum with Life Report. I'm here again responding to a piece of listener mail from Sharon in St. Paul, Minnesota. She writes, "Hey Josh, I heard you talk at Nativity the other night when it was so cold." And it was cold. It was literally 10 degrees Fahrenheit the day I arrived in St. Paul, Minnesota. So yeah, that's right. It was cold. Sharon says, "The next day I heard relevant radio talk about new scientific research that shows that stem cells actually transfer back and forth between mother and unborn baby. The stem cells from the baby contribute to the mother's immune system and can be a preventative for diseases. Wouldn't this fact show that the baby is not just taking from the mother, but actually contributing to her well-being? It may help in the toughest anti-life argument." And she's referring to the bodily rights argument, which she heard me talk about that night. She says, "Keep up your good work." Okay, so thanks, Sharon. A couple thoughts. I like the way you think, but I don't think people that would be making the bodily rights argument would actually be very impressed, because they're going to say, "Who cares if it makes her healthier?" Like, let's just grant that pregnancy makes women healthier, or at least their immune system is maybe functioning at a higher level. They're going to say, "Who cares? Why should that mean that she shouldn't have an abortion?" They would say, you know, the Judith Jarvis Thompson type of person is going to say that regardless of the effect on the mother's body, like in a good way that the fetus has, that she has a right to unplug, just like, you know, most people would say that you've got the right to unplug from Thompson's Violinist, right? So to kind of make this kind of more clear, like, you could actually modify the Violinist story. And I kind of learned this idea from Trent Horn, who we're going to be publishing an episode from him sometime in the next month, where he talks about what he calls Violinist Reasoning, which is kind of a way to help you get in the mind of the pro-choice person, is especially if they're thinking from a bodily rights you know, place, if that's where they're coming from. You can sometimes kind of modify the violinist and understand kind of where they're coming from. And so the kind of the modification here would be, imagine if the person that's hooked up to the violinist is kind of made slightly more healthy, or has a slightly better, like, immune system as a result of being plugged in. I don't think that would really change the ethical equation here. I don't think that would, like, suddenly now it's immoral to unplug, but it was moral before. No, it would just, you could say it's maybe a little bit less wise to unplug. Like, you ought to at least consider the health benefits of being plugged in. But most, probably 99% of people are going to say, yeah, okay, but the person's still probably going to unplug, since, you know, they would rather not be plugged in for, you know, 7 or 8 months versus the extra health benefit of being pregnant. So I think this, in the end, just becomes one of those, like, really nice things for, like, pro-life people to know. I personally believe it demonstrates God's creative handiwork. I just don't think this would be very helpful when talking to pro-choice people, unless, I mean, maybe I want to say, it's like I'm tempted to say maybe pro-choice Christians. You know, maybe, you know, you could try to make, like, an intelligent design kind of argument, like, you know, maybe, you know, it seems like this is evidence that, you know, I just don't think it's a very good argument. I think if you want to make a biblical pro-life argument, use what Scott Klusendorf recently taught on Life Report. You can go to prolifepodcast.net, and you can find that if you just search Scott Klusendorf. Or just look at the recent Life Report episodes. I just wouldn't go there. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. I don't think it's a very helpful fact to use with pro-choice people, but I do think it's nice to know. One more thing that I personally believe that God purposefully designed as a part of women's reproductive systems. So thanks so much for being there in St. Paul, and thanks for listening.